Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is a natural, normal, and necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. That grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. That's why we shout good morning, because morning is a good thing. And I'm grateful that you are with us on this morning as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief devotion. Today is day 311. We're going to talk about in between is hard and essential. In between is hard and essential. In between is hard and essential. Let's talk about it, y'all. Grief lives in liminal space. Limina is the Latin word for threshold, the space betwixt and between. When I'm in this limbo, I am not busily and unthinkingly going about my daily life. Neither am I living from a place of assuredness about my relationships and belief. Grief lives in liminal spaces. That's in between and in betwixt. In between and in betwixt, right? So when you start thinking of liminal spaces, you start thinking of thresholds. You think of a threshold like a door, right? When you start going, you go through a door. If you was to stay right in that threshold, that's a liminal space. You're in between. You're in between going outside and going inside, right? A waiting room is a liminal space, right? That you're not outside or you're not whatever, but you're not back seeing the doctor either. You're in a waiting room. You're in a liminal space. A hallway is a liminal space, right? That you just left somewhere and you're headed to somewhere, but you're not there, but you're not there either. You're in a liminal space. And this is the thing about grief. Grief lives in liminal spaces, right? Because you're not at the place of where you once were, right? But you're not where you want to be. You're not where you used to be, but you're not where you want to be, right? And so grief lives in this transition. It lives in this hallway. It lives in this waiting room. It exists in this liminal space, right? Limina is the Latin word for threshold, the space between betwixt and between. When I'm in this limbo, I'm not busily and unthinkingly going about my daily life, right? Neither am I living from a place of assuredness about my relationships and beliefs. When you're in a liminal space, things are in limbo. Things are all over the place, right? Your mind is everywhere, right? It is a process that you navigate through. It is a place that's why I like when you're going through grief, you feel like you're all over the place, right? There's no assuredness. There's no, man, you go from day to day and sometimes minute to minute and sometimes moment to moment. You feel as if you are everywhere. It says instead, I'm unsettled. My automatic daily routine and core beliefs have been shaken, forcing me to reconsider who I am, why I'm here, and what life means, right? Everything has been shaken. I call it a faith quake. That when you go through stuff like this, it's like an earthquake, but it's a faith quake. Everything's been shaken, right? There's no certainty. There's everything is ambiguity. Everything has been shaken. You trying to figure this thing out, right? And so navigating through this process, it puts you in this liminal space, unsettled, right? You unsettled in your thoughts. You unsettled about the future. You unsettled about so many different things. Oftentimes, your core belief has been shaken, right? It's been stirred. You find your place in the place where you're unsettled, forcing me to reconsider who am I? You even start to question, like, who is life real? Who am I? You start to search for meaning, right? One thing after grief, when people do loss, change, and transition, we got to go through a meaning reconstruction. We go through meaning reconstruction where we start to rebuild who we are. Because for so long, this is who I am. This is the role I played. Now that that person is gone and I no longer have that role to fulfill, who am I? I was everything I did was wife. Everything I did was husband. Everything that I did, right, was mother. Everything that I did was father. Now that this person is gone and that role no longer calls for my time and my attention and my energy, oh my God, who am I? We go through this reconstructing meaning in our life, right? Why am I here? What does life mean? I'm uneasy with waiting, with not doing, with in betweenness, but that's where I am. That is the reality of the situation. And I need to be here for a while. Did we freeze up? I think we froze up. I think we froze up. Hold on one second. I don't know if y'all can still hear me. Hold on. Hold on. Are y'all back with me? I think y'all are back with. I hope it didn't do it again. Okay. Okay. I'm uneasy with waiting, with not doing, with in betweenness. That's where I am, and I need to be here for a while. One of the things about grief, y'all, is recognizing where you are. Oh my God, did we freeze up again? Okay, there we go. We're having technical difficulties this morning, but we're trying to navigate through them. Here's the final thought. There's value in the suspension that comes from being in liminal spaces. There's value in the suspension that comes from being in liminal places. This is where you are, right? And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's part of the transition. It's part of the transition. It's part of the process as you go through this loss change and this transition. It's part of who you are. It's part of the process. It's a season of rediscovery. It's a season of being unshaking. It's a season of rediscovering. It's a season of meaning. It's a season of of understanding. So many things happen in the midst of these liminal spaces, and so don't be afraid to face it. Embrace it, and allow God to do what He desires to do in the midst of your life as you continue to navigate through the process of grief. My computer's acting up, y'all. I'm having all type of issues. Look, I hope and pray this lesson was a blessing. Right? We live in liminal spaces. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a season of rediscovery. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Continue to hang on and hold on. We gonna make it through. Boy, it's rough this morning. We gonna make it through. I appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, with less technical difficulties. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go.